Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I've had internet off for, well, all of the summer break, and to be honest, I've been having to make arrangements to do other league races, and it's just been horrible. I mean, I haven't been able to do any of the pre-season ones, and especially the ones coming up this week, but I mean, hopefully I'll be able to do Friday's ones, but I mean, that's at Austin, and that should be interesting, because obviously it's a new track. I think we moved to McLotus just purely because I mean we like the look of the car. I mean yes, Mercedes does look good, but I don't know. I think there's something about the car. I mean obviously the history of it with sort of like in the 80s and that sort of stuff. But I think mainly it's just because we like the car, we like the way it feels and all that sort of stuff. And me and Jack work well together normally, and we should do it again. Honestly, no, because I don't really focus on the team seat of who's number one. In my opinion, Jack's miles ahead of me. I know it may not seem it on this game so far, with obviously the last night's testing, as I can't remember where he finished, even though if he didn't do it. But Mark was saying that Jack is beatable. So I mean, it should be good. Personally, I actually think it's quite a good system. I mean, that way no one gets punished for well no one gets punished for doing anything wrong. It's say obviously say if you like get disqualified or something like that through too many penalties, then obviously it's your own fault, you don't get any points. But I mean through the people that have bothered to actually turn up, do the race, and actually not just like grunting at the fact that they can't be asked to do it, then they deserve the points that they get. Um, Not necessarily much more about the car, but honestly just to see how much better or worse the competition has gotten. Because, I mean, I know that there's certain tracks on here, which in the last game I was terrible at, whereas now I'm actually quite good at them, and vice versa. So I think it'd be interesting to see, especially with Austin, since it's a new track, nobody knows it. I personally think I'm actually alright at that track, one of my better ones. I mean, obviously, Shanghai last year for me was terrible, but this year, I mean, I did it last night. Great track. So really, it's just a case of seeing how the other teams respond to obviously the tyre simulation and all that sort of stuff. And instead of having to like spin in the rear wheels, going out of like hairpins and that sort of stuff, I mean, it's less arcadey. Obviously, it's more realistic. So I think it will make better drivers. Um, I don't think at the start it'll affect it much. Obviously, 10:15 end. I mean, that in my opinion, that's a good decision because I mean, 8 o'clock start, so 15 minutes qualifying, and most races take just under an hour and a half. Obviously, Singapore being an exception. So normally, I mean, most races will finish at 20 to 10 anyway. So, but the only thing is, obviously, if there's a delay, then that sort of like doesn't really help it much. But even if it's like a half 8 start, it should still finish at around about 10 past 10. So, really, it's good, but I mean, it could be bad at races like Singapore, where it'll be very competitive at Singapore simply because it's stopping at 10:15. I mean, I don't think there's any question it will go longer than that because you think there's going to be 2 safety cars, and then it's a 2-hour race anyway. So that could be ending up finishing the race like 5 laps early when someone could have a tyre advantage. So it's going to be different. I mean, in my opinion, better, but definitely different. Obviously, Neil's performance yesterday was I didn't. I sort of considered it a shock, but then again, it was first race, new game. Yes and no. But I mean, for Neil to finish ahead of obviously Aaron for a start, because I find me and Aaron are quite similar. But I was really expecting him not to be at the bottom, but in the midfield somewhere. I wasn't expecting him to win that race. So he's going to be one to watch out for, always. Mark, I mean, obviously I raced with him in other leagues. I know he's good, and when he's on form, he is, well, one of the best. I mean, he gives the competition to Jack. But when, obviously, if he's having a bit of an off day, then that's when I can step up and I can obviously, I can beat him if I have to, sort of thing. Trying to think, who else is in it now? Oh yeah, Luke. I mean, I did a couple of races with him on 2011, and I got to admit, he was actually quite good on that. But so that'll be interesting to see what he's like on this game. And who else was there? James, other James, obviously. Obviously, last season ended, I think, last 4 races or something like that. Well, last 3 or something like that. I mean, when we did those, he was quite good, considering he's come straight into the league, sort of thing. Only coming in from like sprint races and that sort of stuff. He's still getting quite high finishes, and so he will definitely be one to look out for. And then Steve as well, who's making remarks like, I like to do my talking on the track. I mean, I love that, because that's so much better than obviously squabbling and all that sort of stuff on the page. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can live up to his remarks. And of course, Ross is back from the first, well, about quarter of the way through first season after Monaco, I think. So that'll be interesting to see where Ross comes. I mean, if he can keep his front wing clean, Ross can get some high finishes. But I think once he has that first incident in a race, I don't know whether it lowers his confidence or what, but seems to be unable to stop getting rid of that front wing. But yeah, I mean, it'll be fantastic.